Today, I'm going to show you one of the most simple yet most intriguing recipe from the bakery, that is lavash. Many of you requested me on Instagram asking for lavash recipe as you want to add it in your Rakshabandhan hamper, and here I am sharing you the lavash recipe. Today, I will show you a base recipe for lavash and then how you can add your own flavors to it and add it in your hampers. So before we dive into our lavash recipe, if you are looking to level up your baking game, turn simple ingredients into stunning desserts while mastering the professional recipes, then you have come to the right place because that's exactly what I do. And I upload once a week. So if you are interested in such recipes, then don't forget to hit that subscribe button so you don't miss our weekly upload. Now, let's dive into our today's recipe. Lavash is a simple recipe which can be mastered very easily, but you need to keep an eye when you are baking it or when you are adding different spices to give its own flavor. So, keeping this in mind, we will learn a base recipe for lavash and then how you can add different spices to give its own flavors. Now, let me show you how you can create a base recipe for the lavash. Before we dive into our lavash recipe, let me tell you what all ingredients I will be using and what in what proportion. Also, how each ingredient will work with each other to make a perfect lavash, crispy one, as well as a base for different variations of lavash which you can make by keeping this recipe as a base. So, first and foremost ingredient I will be using is 250 grams of whole wheat flour. Now, you can take all-purpose flour as well, but here I am taking whole wheat flour so that it is a little bit more healthier version of the lavash, but you can follow the same recipe with all-purpose flour as well. So we will be taking 250 grams of whole wheat flour. It will be the main ingredient to provide the structure and elasticity to our lavash. Now it will also provide gluten that we can easily roll it thin, but it will not let it tear apart. So our base should have the gluten qualities as well. So you can use all-purpose flour or whole wheat flour as well. Now the next ingredient which I will be using is oil. Here I have taken 25 ml of oil. You can take olive oil as well or neutral sunflower oil as well. Here I have taken neutral sunflower oil. I have taken 25 ml. It will add fat and tenderness to our lavash, and it will also enhance the flavor and it will make our lavash more crispy. Next ingredient which I will be using is salt. I will take 1 teaspoon of salt, that is 5 grams of salt. It will add a taste and it will also strengthen the gluten of our lavash. The next ingredient which I will be using is again 1 teaspoon of powdered sugar. It is a completely optional ingredient. If you want to skip it, you can skip it. But I prefer sugar because it balances the taste. Also, it provides that little browning on the lavash, which will look more professional and it will look more eye appealing and tasty by just looking at it. So here I will be taking 5 grams of powdered sugar, that is 1 teaspoon of sugar. Then I will be using 100 to 120 ml of water. It may vary depending upon the flour. If the humidity is more, you might need a little less water. If the humidity is lower, then you might need more water to bind a soft yet firm dough. And last but not the least, I will be using baking powder. Now this will work as a leavening agent, but we don't want it to leaven our lavash. We don't want very much big air pockets, but it will provide that small air pockets which will help to make lavash lighter but also keep it crispier at the same time. So I'll be just using 3 grams of baking powder in our recipe. So I hope you are clear with all the ingredients, and now we will start making the dough for the lavash. First, take flour in a bigger bowl, then add powdered sugar, then we will measure salt and baking powder and mix it in the dough. Now what you can do is, if you want to make different bases, means if you want to add flavors from the starting itself, then you can add your dry ingredients or spices or herbs from this step itself. So for example, if you want to add a peri peri, then you can directly add it in this stage, and then start kneading the dough. If you want to add herbs like oregano, thyme, then you can directly add it in this stage itself. But if you are not sure that what you are making the final product or final lavash, then I recommend that you just follow this method. Make a dough, and then when you are want to roll it and bake it, at that time you can also add the inclusions. So that way you will have a free time or free chance to decide which flavor you want to make. But if you are for sure that if you want to go with one particular flavor, then you can directly add that ingredient at this stage itself. So now right now I will be using just a standard recipe for the lavash. Now I have added all the dry ingredients, and now I will add oil and start to crumble the dough. Once our dough becomes a little bit crumbly, we will start adding water in small portion and start knead our dough. When generally you're working with butter, it's recommended to add it at the last, once the dough is binded. But when you're working with the oil, it's recommended to put it at first, so you have hold on the structure and the dough consistency. You can see because of the oil, the dough has become little bit crumbly, and that's perfectly fine texture which we are looking to get. Now, if you are making it for the selling purposes, I will always recommend to use gloves. This is for my personal use, and I'm just making it for the video. So I would recommend that you always use gloves when you are working with dough directly using your hands. May be anything. If you are making cakes, cookies, tarts, anything, even if this lavash or bread, always wear gloves and then only directly touch your ingredients. That's a common basic hygiene standard which you should always follow. Now, we have crumbled our oil and flour. So now we will slowly start adding our water into it. Now, don't add water all together, or else what will happen that if your humidity is more and water is also added more, then there will be high chance that your dough will be very much soggy. Means too much water will be there, and you will never be able to bind the dough, and then you will again have to put more amount of flour into it, so for which the ratio will be disturbed. So always add slowly and keep binding together. So once you are confident that it has come together, that time you can take it out on the platform and start kneading it. We will develop gluten in this, but because we have not used yeast in this recipe, we don't need to worry that it will rise and ferment. You see how the dough has started to come together. Now, okay, there is one more category where people use yeast in the lavash as well, where they want more aerated pockets for the lavash. At that time, they use yeast in the dough and ferment it, so they have bigger pockets. So they want to do filling or make it more attractive or artisanal. At that time, they use yeast in it. But for now, we will be learning standard professional lavash, so we will be not adding our yeast in this recipe. If you want to add yeast and make the pocket ones, then let me guide you. You can, for 250 grams, you can use 1 teaspoon of yeast, that is 5 grams of yeast. In the same recipe, you can skip the baking powder and replace it with yeast, and that way you can incorporate yeast in this recipe. If you have any queries related to this recipe, feel free to comment down. I would be very happy to read your comments and help you solve your queries. See how slowly our dough has started to come together. Because it's solid flour, I will be probably needing more amount of water to just combine all the ingredients, and then we will take it on the marble table and knead it properly until the gluten is formed. Now our dough has come together. We will transfer it onto the platform and we will knead it until the gluten is formed properly. If you still feel that there is need of little water, don't feel shy, add little water. We want to have that soft dough, but it should still be firm. So when you are just holding it, it should not be stretching out on its own. Just when you are just rolling, it should be feel soft and it should not be too hard. Now, in this way, you can knead your dough and develop the gluten in this lavash. See, gluten formation has already started. You can see the strands on the dough. Uh, uh, that is the sign that the gluten has started to form. I would still add a small amount of water because I feel it's little hard. At the end, I will also show you what will be the consistency of the dough, so you will be sure that what you need to achieve to get proper lavash. It's similar to like you are kneading the dough for your rotis. Now we can see our dough has almost come together and properly kneaded. Just collect it together. And you can see that it should be soft ball. When you punch it in, you should be easily able to press it, but it should not be too elasticy. So when you hold it, it should not start to loosen on its own. And see how easily I can stretch it. So that's the perfect consistency for the lavash. Well, let me show you the gluten formation as well. We'll just make again ball of it. You can say it a window pen method, or you can say gluten testing method. Just take a small amount of dough and start pinching it and stretching it until the structure is very thin that you can see light passing through it, in which you will find thin threads connected to each other, which shows that the gluten formation has happened properly. You can see this is the gluten formation. You can see here a very thin layer, but still it's not breaking or breaking. That's when you know your gluten has formed properly. Now what we will do is we will let the dough rest for around 15 to 20 minutes, and then we will start rolling it. But because I have kept this simple base recipe, so putting it while rolling it, we will add flavor and infusions in it, and then we will roll it and bake it. So now let's put it in the same bowl for around 15 to 20 minutes so that our dough can rest. Put it at room temperature and cover with a cloth so it does not get dry and make a dry skin on the top of it. Just spray a little water on the top of cloth so moisture is maintained, contained into the bowl, so it does not have that dry skin on it. In this recipe, I have used whole wheat flour to make it more healthier. But if you want to use all-purpose flour, you can simply replace all-purpose flour with whole wheat flour in same ratio. Now our dough is resting for around 15 to 20 minutes, after which we will start rolling it. But before rolling, I will show you how you can add different spices to give its own version. Now our dough has been resting for around 15 to 20 minutes, and I will take this dough and split it in two halves. Well, then we will divide it into two flavors. So I will show you two different methods to make delicious lavas. One will be peri peri, and second one will be a little bit surprise. I will show you moving further. So let's focus on the first. I've taken the half of the dough, mm, half of the dough, and then I will spread it little bit. Now, if you have added already into the dough when we were mixing all the dry ingredients, now I will add peri peri masala. It's not sponsored. You can use any of the peri peri masala available to you. You can just simply, as per your taste buds and how much spicy you want it, you can add it, and then simply again just mix it back again, and just mix it well. You don't need to knead because you have already formed gluten in it. Just mix it well so the peri peri is uh, properly spread all over the dough. Now, when you're making a single batch, then just you can use the same batch and add peri peri masala in the dry ingredients, so that you don't have to knead it again. It will already have the peri peri masala into the dough with the very first time when needed. But now it has been properly incorporated. You can see the color has also come in our dough. So now we will just make a ball of it and keep it aside. Now in the peri peri, I am thinking that when I will roll it, I will again sprinkle a little bit of red chili flakes to give it a more appealing look, as well as that spicy crunch. So now this dough is ready. We will take another dough and I will show you what I will do in the another dough. Now let's take the another half dough. Now in this I am going to include mixed herbs, and then I will make cheesy straws. So when we will be rolling it, we will roll it, add grated cheese, and then twist it and make cheesy straws. So for that, I have stretched out our second half of the dough, and here I have taken mixed herbs. It's a mix of different types of herbs readily available in the market, or you can just take different herb available with you and mix it together and add it in the dough. So when you have that cheesy straws, so you just don't feel the bland cheese taste, but you get a little bit of flavor to it as well. So I will just stretch it and mix the herbs in it. Now you know why I was not saying what would be the second inclusion, because that would be cheesy version. So I wanted to keep it little secret for you guys. Now I hope you will enjoy the cheesy version more. See, it's properly incorporated into the dough. If you want to add more, you can add more as well. Now also, even when you are rolling it, you can add it at that time as well. So now our this is for the cheesy dough, and our this is one the peri peri one. So now let's start rolling with the peri peri one. If needed, you can use flour to dust it and roll it. But if you have properly don't need it, you will most probably you will not need it at the initial stage. Now I would recommend that when you are rolling it, divide it again into two or three parts, because what happens is we will want to knead it very thin. We want to knead it very thin, so that you have that crispier lavash. So around 1 to 2 mm of the thickness is what we are looking for. So keep on rolling it until it's very thin like paper. You can see I have rolled it super thin. More the thinness is there in the dough, it will be more crispier and delicious in the taste. Now for this one, I will be just sprinkling little bit of red chili flakes, as I told you. Then just press it with little bit with the rolling pin so it gets sticked properly. And then I will cut this into typical lava style, that is triangle shape. You can cut it in any different shapes you want and however you like, but here we will just do the triangle ones. because I had a very small amount, so the shape of the rolled dough is little bit different. That's why. Or else once you have properly rolled into rectangle sheet, you can properly get the size of the triangle shape. Now let me remove this excess dough, and don't worry, you can just take the excess dough, mix it again and start rolling it. So you will have again different sheet to cut out from, and then you can again cut it and put it for the baking. Now here I have a baking tray with me. This is stainless steel baking aluminum baking tray, so I will don't need to grease it. You can directly just put your lavash in the baking tray, and you don't need to worry about it sticking to the plate. You can use scraper to lift it from the table and simply put it on the baking tray. Here I have transferred my all rolled and cut lavash into a baking tray. Now what we will do is we will just poke holes with a fork in it so it does not get air pockets while getting baked. So just simple holes. So the when it's in oven, it will not aerate and there will be no air pockets in it. So this lavash is ready. We will put it in baking for around 180 degrees Celsius, around 8 to 10 minutes until it's crispy. By then, let's roll our second dough. If you have deck oven, you can put both the doughs together as also. If you are using normal OTG oven at your home, you can bake it one by one. Now here I have our second dough. I will just divide it into two parts so it's easier for us to roll. If you have any queries related to this recipes, feel free to comment down. Also, if you have any suggestions for any upcoming workshops, this would be probably our last workshop for the Rakshabandhan. So if you have any suggestions for the next upcoming workshops, you can feel free to comment down. I would surely try to include it in our upcoming recipes or in our upcoming workshops. We will roll it as thin as we can, just like we did for the peri peri one. Now you can see I have rolled over second dough as well. You can see the thickness, same as thin as you would like to put it, the more crispy it will be. Now in this one, what we will do is we will just make the thin strips, and before that we will just grate some cheese on top of it, so we can make cheesy swirls. So first, just let me make a rectangle from it. Let me take out the excess dough. Here I'm taking processed cheese. You can also take Parmesan cheese and just simply grate on top of it. If you want to apply small amount of oil, feel free to apply small amount of oil so the cheese sticks properly to the base. Once you have properly grated cheese on top of it, just lightly press it with hands. And then cut out strips from it. I will take another baking tray with me. Here I have another baking tray. What I will do is pick up one strip and then just twist it. Now, if you want to make smaller twisties, then you can do that as well. I want to make the bigger one, so you can just twist it like this and put it on a baking tray. You can make a sandwich as well. You can put two different layers of it, and in between you can stuff cheese and then bake it. But I like it this way. This is my personal favorite way, but you can be creative with this one. Now you can use this dough as well to make tart shells for the savory desserts, and you can use this to make cones. You can be very versatile with this dough recipe because it can be used in many different ways, however you like it. So feel free to try and experiment with it. Why do I like this method is because when you break this sticks, you will have that cheesy pull from the center when it's hot. So I like it to swirl it like this way. So the it have the cheesy look also and cheesy pull as well. Ready? Now I'm going to put this also in oven for around 8 to 10 minutes at 180 degrees Celsius until it's crispy and it's ready to serve. Until our lavash gets baked, let me tell you how you can store and pack your lavash for Rakshabandhan hampers. Once lavash is baked, let it come to room temperature and cool down completely. After it's cooled, you can store it in an airtight container or glass jars. Make sure it is airtight and then you can store it for up to 7 to 10 days. We have not added any preservatives, hence it will have the shelf life of 7 to 10 days. And also make sure that you put different flavors in different jars so the flavors and aroma doesn't get mixed and it will not have that foul smell. So it's always recommended to store it in different containers with different flavors. Now let's see once our lavash gets baked. Now our lavash is baked and ready. You can see how beautiful this looks. It has light brown color on top of it. It has that crispiness and it has small air pockets, so which makes it very light and airy. Let me just show you once again. It is super crispy and super delicious with the peri peri taste. Now let me show you the cheesy swirls. Here our cheesy swirls also ready. You can see this also has beautiful color, little light browning and cheesy cheese dried inside it. It has also crispiness and you can see cheese has also been baked properly, so it will have very good cheesy taste to the sticks. You can properly store it in an airtight container for around 7 to 10 days. Make sure to keep different flavors in different containers so each other flavors doesn't get matched and the flavors doesn't combine and doesn't give off taste to each other. So you can store one particular flavor in one airtight container and you can store it up to 7 to 10 days very easily. I hope you have enjoyed today's recipe and will surely try it at your home or for your Rakshabandhan hampers. If you try this recipe at your home or your bakery and post it on Instagram, do tag us. I would surely love to see your creations. Until we meet next time, keep learning, keep baking, be crazy.